Good morning out there. In there, out there, from in here, out here. Vivi's nose. Vivi. No. Okay. What's there? My phone. Where's Vivi? I can't do this without Vivi. Good heavens. Well, anyway. Wow, what a good time at the Red Dock. Holy cow. All those dear people there that filled up that Red Dock, and Tony, gosh, he was so good. It was like, I don't know, Jerry Garcia and James Taylor were so different. So, you know, there's no comparison. Tony his poems just roll over you, one image after another. Boom, 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 boom. Marvelous. And he's so good to me. Jeez, oh man. Yeah, and dear people there. And then, of course, I'm the guy who says, wait a minute, I sent an invitation to this person, and they weren't there. So then I torture myself. Oh well. By the way, how about how old I am? Last week I talked about Charlie Bryce's new book. And I did it twice. That's how old I am. I did it twice. I forgot that I'd done it in a matter of 4 minutes? It ain't easy being old. Oh, well. Morning, Mark, Mariana, Tom Aaronsforth, people trying, dealing, tough times, health-wise. Hey, and Tony and I were on the front page of the commercial record. It's a dear photograph. I have to admit that. It's really two buddies. It's really it's Scott Sullivan he's so good. He just caught it, just like the quintessential photograph of two buddies. Doesn't matter if it's Tony and me, it's just that. Jimmy Buffett. Boy, created a whole world. And the one we ought to live in a way, huh? Not this. A kind billionaire. And of course, when we lived in Key West, it was Jimmy Buffett land because he took advantage of that, and in the best sense. That sounds awful, but I think it's wonderful to create a world that really doesn't exist, and then you get to be in it with every song. Julie played Jimmy Buffett as we drove yesterday everywhere. Oh, it's great. And he did a lot of good things for people, and yeah. Mimi, our daughter Meredith, is making it through. This is about her 2.5 week with her elementary school kids. She came home pretty happy yesterday. Strangest things happen. 1 minute a student says I love you, and wow, another one jumps out of her seat and runs out in the hall and runs away. And then she brought home some of the things they did, and it was pretty remarkable what she taught them. Isn't that interesting? What was it, like 16 squares or 3 across? 16 squares they had on the piece of paper. These are little kids. And what's that notice? And then they had to do something different in each one just by patterns and shapes. And wow, that's a lot of squares to make different one from another. And they did it already. And it sounds like nothing, but try it. Different pattern in each square. So she's really helping them already see what art is rather than I know how to draw something that looks like something. Marvelous. Just really marvelous. Boy, downtown was crowded over the weekend. It's Labor Day weekend, of course. So yeah, it was really, really, really crowded. Tony and I, we had fun because as we read, Tony started, we went back and forth, and some people were eating there, so they were leaving. And so then I said, okay, Tony, it's a contest to see who can make the most people leave. The bartender said, there was such a crowd, and the bartender said, these people are all here for poetry? Oh my goodness. Special thanks to Julie, who's working on her crochet that she won't show you. Hi Vivi, who won't come up and sit beside me today. You know this is going to be a flop because you're not there. Gee whiz. She and I took a good nap yesterday. We were all curled up with each other. One of the things that Meredith has that is really challenging and provocative and unsettling, etc., is the range of demographics of her kids. Woof, did you hear the woof? And that's really hard because she can tell. One little guy didn't want to do anything. He just sat there the other day, and she said, Jimmy, you know, are you okay? What is it? He said, no, I'm not. She said, well, what is it? And he said, when I left school, my mom was still yelling at me. You know, there are kids who go home to books and magazines and kids who go home to maybe television. And she tries to teach art, and some know some things and some don't know things. Are your gardens hanging in there? Yeah, ours are. I made a mostly green garden this year, so it's mostly leaves. So boy, it's great. They're really rich. Big lambs here, this big. Everything really, really, really took off. And well, of course it was Labor Day. Oh, I want to show you this. I found this book downstairs, Huckleberry Finn. I wanted to read Huckleberry Finn. Look how big this book is. It's got all kinds of essays and everything. How many total pages? My bad hands. This is 450 some pages. And the price, back when I got it, $1.95. Wow. $1.95. Yeah. Labor Day. And I'm not talking about the labor movement or anything. I'm just talking about thinking about labor. And the two women who were here yesterday, they come every other week to do what we don't do and clean here. And we really talked about it and what it's like to go into these homes, $1 million homes, for example. One was $2.5 million that one of them worked on the other day. And that's hard. It's not like a plumber, an electrician coming in to help out. These are people going in and cleaning. And it always makes me think about labor. And when I was at the college, Labor Day was just, we were supposed to teach. And the students, they were afraid if they went home, they wouldn't come back, I guess. But we didn't do anything. And why? Why didn't we have something for all those custodians? The one thing my father taught me is, and he told all his players the same thing, look, you're not playing unless Charlie here washes your uniform, you know. Takes care of your shoes. Sweeps the floor. Be grateful. Thank him. And I always told my students, the custodians are not here to clean up your beer puke. That's not why they're here. Of course, part of that soft heart for our labor is I always had a ring, but I couldn't fit it anymore on my finger. Where is that ring? Do we know? That my grandfather gave me. And then I had a watch that he gave me when he retired after about 50 years of doing the same thing on the assembly line at Westinghouse Air Brake in Pittsburgh. Same thing, lied about his age so when he was about 15, 16, so he could go work in that factory. Needed the money. Czech immigrant family. And a lot of you know this story that I asked him one time, Grandpa, how could you possibly have done that? And he looked at me, he didn't understand my question. He looked at me and he said, what do you mean? It was only 8 hours a day. And never gotten past that. I know I live in this wonderful house, but it's because of Julie. I told the people yesterday, I didn't grow up in a house like this. Well, I'm getting goofy about it. But I wish we did more. I wish the college did more. At least this public school system took the day off. But it turns into another one of those, we have a day off to have a party or something, you know. But I just thought about Grandpa. That's our poem for today, if I can find it. I thought I knew right where it was. And now look at me. Going through this whole thing and wondering where it is. Maybe I'll have to do it next week. Huh? What do you think? I thought it was in this book. Oh dear. I guess I thought for sure it was in this book. Well, that's the way it goes. We'll find another one to read. Aren't you good just sitting there? Maybe I could make up something, huh? How about that one? How about this one? How about this one? How about that one? Well, that's embarrassing to think that I thought it was in here. Down at the Respite, the wonderful coffee shop here in Douglas, she has my books, and I stopped in there and signed them yesterday, and she sold out 20 some of them already, and I took 16 more and 4. It's just such a kind thing. So, well, I don't know. Maybe should I just skip it? There's a poem called Garage Sale. Maybe that's... Well, since Vivi isn't here, I'm going to read While the Dog Sleeps. I wish... The poem I was going to read is about my grandfather's hands, and some of you have heard it before. Thought for sure it was in here. While the Dog Sleeps. It's the birthday of Stephen Crane. On this date, Michelangelo said yes to the Pope and gathered his brushes. At the church next door, the choir's rehearsing. There's nothing I want to rehearse. Recently, I've been realizing if that didn't exist, I'd never miss it. I say it a lot, but not about you. We put isinglass over the screens on the porch so we could sit there in sweaters, take the time to see what was in front of us. Now, tomorrow is a strange word. Now, even stranger, yesterday is what makes sense. But not much of it's true. Our dog still keeps sleep. I imagine him dreaming la dolce far niente. When asked if I miss what I did for 40 years, I like to say that never existed. Now, here on the porch, I take in the light, crossing the last leaves, doing their slow dance in the breeze. Watch the chickadees at the feeder. Once in a while, glance at the sundial. We set in the shade of the redbud. Take care. Care about labor. Be kind. Try to be cheerful. Thanks for being with me.